based on the described conditions. No explicitly stated prohibitions against the proposed installation are found within the specific sections of the National Electrical Code. Article 300.5 addresses raceways and other wiring methods general, stating that wiring methods must comply with the requirements outlined in Article 300. It also emphasizes that the requirements of other articles are applicable where specifically referenced within Article 300. Article 300.11, addressing uses permitted, indicates that conductors are permitted to be installed in raceways as raceways themselves without conductors, and is specified elsewhere in the code. Article 300.12 pertains to uses not permitted, specifying that conductors should not be installed in raceways unless the raceway is listed in tables 4 through 6, or specifically approved for that purpose. An exception exists: conductors not specifically approved for use in raceways are permitted to be installed in listed raceways if the listed marking on the raceway indicates that it is suitable for the purpose. Article 344.1 defines the scope of the article, which encompasses the installation, construction, and use of electrical metallic tubing, also known as EMT, flexible metallic tubing, also known as FMT, intermediate metal conduit, also known as IMC, and rigid metal conduit, also known as RMC, for the protection and routing of conductors and cables referred to in this code. Article 352.1 defines the scope of the article to cover electrical non-metallic tubing, also known as ENT, reinforced thermosetting resin conduit, also known as RTRC, and polyvinyl chloride, also known as PVC conduit type CB, A, C, and PVC Schedule 40 and 80 conduit types DB, DW, and Schedule 40 and 80. Article 347.1 outlines the scope encompassing the installation, construction, and use of rigid non-metallic conduit, also known as RNC, including thin wall and Schedule 80. To reiterate, the National Electrical Code sections appear not to explicitly prohibit the proposed installation. However, securing an official ruling from the local building authority is recommended if the conduit is installed above ground. The National Electrical Code, or NEC, serves as the benchmark for safe electrical design, installation, and inspection to protect people and property from electrical hazards. It is updated every 3 years. It is important to consult the latest edition and any local amendments. When evaluating the suitability of a wiring method, one must consider several factors. These include the environmental conditions, the physical protection needed, and any potential for corrosion. The NEC provides guidelines for these considerations. Rigid metal conduit, or RMC, is a heavy-duty, threaded raceway suitable for various applications. It offers excellent physical protection and can be used in wet or corrosive environments when properly coated. PVC conduit is a lightweight, non-metallic option often used underground or in corrosive environments. However, it offers less physical protection than RMC. When installing conduit above ground, the NEC requires that it be supported at specific intervals to prevent sagging or damage. The spacing of these supports depends on the size and type of conduit. For RMC, supports must be placed within 3 feet, or 0.9144 meters, of each box, cabinet, or fitting, and at intervals not exceeding 10 feet, or 3.48 meters. For PVC conduit, the support spacing is generally shorter due to its lower strength. The NEC specifies support requirement in Article 352. Installing conduit in direct contact with the earth on grade raises concerns about corrosion. Galvanized steel conduit is often used in these applications, but the galvanization may not be sufficient to prevent corrosion in all soil conditions. Supplemental corrosion protection, such as a coating or wrapping, may be needed. The NEC addresses corrosion protection in Section 300.6, which requires that raceways be suitable for the environment in which they are installed. When burying conduit, the NEC specifies minimum burial depths to protect it from physical damage. The required depth depends on the voltage of the circuit and the location of the installation. For example, RMC requires a minimum burial depth of 6 inches, or 0.1524 meters, under buildings or concrete slabs. PVC conduit generally requires a deeper burial depth, typically 18 inches, or 0.4572 meters to provide adequate protection. The NEC provides a table of minimum burial depths in section 300.50. The local building authority has the final say on whether an installation meets code requirements. They may have interpretations or amendments to the NEC that are specific to the local area. It is always best to consult with the local authority before starting an electrical installation to avoid costly rework. If there is a dispute with the local building authority, it is helpful to gather all relevant information and present it in a clear and concise manner. This includes the specific sections of the NEC that support the proposed installation, as well as any manufacturer's specifications for the conduit and fittings. It may also be helpful to obtain a second opinion from a qualified electrical engineer or inspector. In the specific scenario involving the remote observatory at 10,000 feet, special consideration must be given to the environmental conditions. High altitude locations often experience extreme temperature variations and exposure to ultraviolet radiation, which can degrade certain types of conduit. It is important to select a conduit material that is suitable for these conditions. Additionally, the rocky terrain may make it difficult to bury conduit at the required depth. In this case, it may be necessary to explore alternative wiring methods such as cable tray or direct burial cable. However, these methods must also comply with the NEC and any local amendments. To clarify further, firstly, consider the use of RMC or rigid metal conduit. This is a robust option, suitable for above-ground installations, especially in environments where physical protection is a concern. Ensure that the RMC is properly supported to prevent sagging. The NEC specifies support intervals that must be followed. Secondly, investigate the use of PVC or polyvinyl chloride conduit. While typically used underground, PVC conduit can be used above ground if properly supported and protected from physical damage. However, it may not be the best choice in areas with high exposure to ultraviolet radiation, as it can degrade over time. Thirdly, explore the use of cable tray. Cable tray is a support system for cables that can be installed above ground. It offers good ventilation and allows for easy access to cables for maintenance. However, it may not be suitable in areas where physical protection is a concern. Fourthly, evaluate the use of direct burial cable. Direct burial cable is specifically designed for underground installation and does not require conduit. However, it must be buried at the required depth to protect it from physical damage. Also, it must be suitable for the soil conditions in the area. Fifthly, consider supplemental protection for the conduit. If the conduit is exposed to corrosive elements, consider using a protective coating or wrapping to extend its lifespan. Sixthly, thoroughly review Article 300 of the NEC. This article covers the general requirements for wiring methods and provides valuable information on installation practices. Seventhly, consult with the local building authority. It is essential to have a clear understanding of the local requirements and interpretations of the NEC. Eighthly, obtain a second opinion from a qualified electrical engineer or inspector. This can help to ensure that the proposed installation meets all applicable codes and standards. Ninthly, document all decisions and communications. Keep a record of all meetings, phone calls, and emails related to the installation. This can be helpful if there are any disputes later on. Tenthly, prioritize safety above all else. Ensure that the installation is performed by qualified personnel and that all safety precautions are followed. To elaborate on specific NEC sections, NEC section 300.5 covers underground installations. It dictates the minimum burial depths for different wiring methods and voltage levels. For RMC, a minimum cover of 6 inches or 0.1524 meters is typically required. For PVC conduit, 18 inches or 0.4572 meters is generally needed. These depths are intended to protect the conduit from physical damage. NEC section 300.6 addresses protection against corrosion. It requires that raceways, cable armor, boxes, cable sheathing, cabinets, metal equipment, supports, and associated fittings be suitably protected against corrosion. This can be achieved through the use of corrosion-resistant materials or coatings. NEC Section 344 pertains to rigid metal conduit, or RMC. It outlines the requirements for the installation, support, and grounding of RMC. RMC is a heavy-duty raceway that provides excellent physical protection for conductors. NEC Section 352 covers PVC, or polyvinyl chloride conduit. It specifies the requirements for the installation, support, and use of PVC conduit. PVC conduit is a lightweight, non-metallic raceway that is resistant to corrosion. NEC Section 314 deals with outlet, device pull, and junction boxes, conduit bodies, fittings, and handhole enclosures. It provides requirements for the size, construction, and installation of these components. In addition to the NEC, other standards may be relevant to the installation. These include standards from organizations such as the Insulated Cable Engineers Association, or ICER, the National Electrical Manufacturers Association, or NEMA, and Underwriters Laboratories, or UL. These standards provide detailed specifications for the materials, construction, and performance of electrical equipment. The suitability of grounding and bonding practices needs assessment. The NEC provides detailed requirements for grounding and bonding to ensure electrical safety. These requirements are intended to minimize the risk of electric shock and fire. The grounding and bonding system must be properly designed and installed to be effective. In considering the environmental factors, the high-altitude location of the observatory presents unique challenges. The thinner air at high altitudes can reduce the cooling capacity of electrical equipment, leading to overheating. The extreme temperature variations can also stress electrical components. The high levels of ultraviolet radiation can degrade certain materials over time. To mitigate these risks, it is important to select equipment that is rated for high-altitude use and to provide adequate ventilation. Protective measures to shield components from direct sunlight may be needed to prevent degradation. Regarding the economic feasibility, the cost of burying conduit can be significant, especially in rocky terrain. The cost of excavation, backfilling, and compaction can be substantial. The cost of materials, such as conduit, fittings, and grounding components, must also be considered. It is important to weigh the costs and benefits of different wiring methods to determine the most economical solution. It may be possible to reduce costs by using alternative wiring methods or by modifying the installation plan. In summary, the NEC provides a comprehensive set of requirements for electrical installations. However, it is important to consider all relevant factors, including the environmental conditions, the physical protection needed, and the economic feasibility of different wiring methods. It is also essential to consult with the local building authority to ensure that the installation meets all applicable codes and standards. Remember that while the NEC aims to provide guidelines for safe electrical installations, it is not a substitute for sound engineering judgment. Always consult with a qualified electrical professional to ensure that the installation is safe and compliant with all applicable requirements.